Hello, my name is Frank Halcon, and I'm sitting here with my friend and spiritual advisor, Michael Dove. Michael, you know, there's so many people out here offering advice. How should I know, what should I be listening to, and who should I be listening to, and why?
Okay, that's a good question. You should be listening to individuals and voices that speak in such a way that it resonates in your soul, because you, on an internal level, are able to understand what sounds true to you, you see. And what I like to do with people is help them develop what I refer to as kind of this inner ear, if you will, that allows them to have an understanding of what sounds right to them, you see. And so it's about being able to learn to trust yourself.
And what can I do to develop that inner ear?
Okay, there are lots of ways in which that inner ear can be developed, but mostly it is about inner observation. It is about looking at yourself and your life and determining at what point do you feel most like yourself. You see, you look inward, and when you are able to really feel centered and most happy and joyous like yourself, then that is where, that is how that inner ear is developed. It's an inner sensitivity to what makes your soul joyous, and that's really the key.
You know, Dove, I've often heard you speak about past lives.
Uh-huh.
Dove, if I've had a past life, what's the usefulness of that? What's the value of knowing my past life?
Okay, what past lives are about is, it is the story of your soul. It's a story of where your soul has been throughout its sojourn, using multiple bodies and multiple incarnations. A kind of a narrative emerges with its own themes and its own patterns. So, in your lifetime now, you may actually be experiencing some of those same themes and patterns. And if you have a larger understanding of where those patterns and themes are coming from, then you can have a clearer understanding of what you're going through now. You see, so all of this information relates to what is happening to you now. And the more you know, it will reveal key truths that will help you to shift and change and make your life more successful now in this incarnation at this time.
Right, so Dove, you know, sometimes I'm not sure about my soul purpose, even what I'm doing here, what I should be doing in my life.
Uh-huh. Yeah, soul purpose, not just you, but a lot of people have that question. And the way that you discern, like, your soul purpose, what you're doing here, you know, what your destiny is kind of looking at the circumstances of your life, the things that have happened to you, the way that you understand and process and how you feel in your life about your circumstances now. What I like to do is help people make sense of their experiences. And out of that making sense, usually very, very quickly, the purpose that they're here for in this lifetime begins to emerge. It becomes clear. And so when I work with people, we like to go kind of back and forth and examine it, kind of examine their life together. And then usually the sense of what their purpose is kind of emerges within them very spontaneously. And we kind of discover it together. That's usually how it works.
Mm-hmm. you know, Dove, I watch these movies, you know, like this, like The Secret and other movies that encourage positive visualization and these things.
Yes.
I think I've tried that for myself. There's a lot of frustration, you know.
Yeah.
And sometimes I feel like I'm fooling myself. Like, when I'm just trying to think positively and yeah, trying to visualize a positive outcome and telling myself that things are going well, things will go well.
That's because things like positive visualization and such, and things depicted in the film The Secret, that's kind of like the opening up the first door, so to speak. You know, positive visualization and manifestation, bringing good things into your life, is something that I would describe as an art, that you learn to do that by understanding yourself too. So you can't really separate kind of your own personal soul exploration and manifesting, you know, the life that you want. They kind of go together, you see. And so manifestation, bringing new realities into your life, is as personal a process as, say, your thumbprint, you see. So it's about understanding how you do it as an individual, your particular route to bringing in the life that you want. And the more that you know about yourself, it's like the more reflection that you've done, the more of a relationship with your inner self that you have, the more successful you will be in that process. So that's what I would say.
So, you know, I feel that it's true that my inner dialogue tends to attract what I think about most, what I concentrate on most. And so I try to observe that inner dialogue, and sometimes I can see how it's negative and how I'm attracting negative things. But how do I change that conversation? So how do I change that inner dialogue?
Yeah. Changing the inner dialogue is an important thing to do, and it's like, it almost requires a certain kind of detective work, if I will. It's like you have to understand where that original voice came from, because it might not have come from you. There's so many influences in terms of the voices, the inner dialogue, that create the inner dialogue that we have. They can come from parents, they can come from society, they can come from traumatic events, and the particular conclusions that you on an inner level made about what a traumatic event meant. You see, all of that goes into the mix of what that inner dialogue is, you see. So it almost requires a kind of an excavation, you know, a kind of detective work, if you will, to understand what they're about. And when you can see where they came from, whether it's even your voice or not, you can then decide, once you know, whether it's worthy of letting go. You see, you get the choice. And it's at that point that you begin to activate your own free will. You see, because human beings are divine beings and we have a free will. So if you are able to understand and begin to master the inner dialogue, you will experience more of that quality of free will. You will have more choice in your life. So it all goes together.
So, you know, often I feel like I feel a victim of the circumstances outside of me. A lot of things happen around me.
Yeah, that is